Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Rockies Now podcast. We are a podcast of the Colorado Rockies. I am one of the co-hosts, Tom. That is one of the other co-hosts, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing in this fine evening here today?
We're making it. We're surviving.
Well, we could
Fully
be.
approve of the new intro video, by the way. This is
Well, yeah,
great.
it's got one. It's got one of your guy. It's got one of your two of your
It's
guys in
got
it.
two of my guys.
I was
Well,
about to say
three of
just.
my guys if you count Warren
I was about to say I was thinking at least the one because is Jake McCarthy, and I remember Warren and everything too. So,
and
well,
Jordan Beck. Jordan
yeah.
Beck's
Oh,
right behind Jake.
I forgot that. I keep forgetting this many guys. Now it's all it's missing is Zach Veen.
Right? Gotta
Zach,
update it one more time.
we will get to him today because one thing's for sure, not just Sarah, but we are all happy to see him back with the big league club. We'll get to him in just a moment. First and foremost, we're just going to talk about obviously since the Steven and Adam were on last time, talk about the trade deadline reaction. Since then, we have had the Rockies have been on a very interesting run here. Of course, we opened them up with 2 wins in the series against the Royals. Then we get swept by the Rays at home. Then here recently, we just got back from our not got back. Excuse me. We had a off day during our 9-game road trip, St. Louis, Arizona, and now they are currently waiting to play tomorrow in San Francisco. The Rockies so far on this road trip are an even 3-3, losing two and winning 1 against the St. Louis Cardinals, and against the Diamondbacks, we just came off a series victory with 2 wins and a loss. So not too bad heading into San Francisco, who we are still competing with as the team that will be in the furthest level of the basement of the National League West. So why don't we just jump into it real quickly? Of course, with the Rockies, the Cardinals series, it was kind of good and bad. You know, we didn't get shut out. Thankfully, we had 3 close games with where all 3 were safe situations. It's again, I know it's against the Cardinals, so it's not extremely encouraging, but it is a good notice that we are at least in games when it comes to teams that are, I guess you could say, at that level with us. Sarah, what did you take away anything in particular specifically from that series?
Um, Really, of course, pitching is still a struggle, but I mean, the guys did snap by game 2 with Arizona. They did snap a 15 inning scoreless streak. So there was a little bit of an offensive downturn there for a couple of games, but I mean, they seem to have bounced back from it pretty well. That was just really what I noticed is it doesn't seem like the offense was quite firing off like it has been in St. Louis. Still decent games, but it just didn't quite look the same there for some reason.
Except for game 2, which if you look at
Yeah,
the
game
numbers,
2.
well, we did not only win that game, but Jake McCarthy, of course, that was the 4-hit game with 2 home runs. And you want to share the joke that you mentioned to me before the pregame in the pre-show about Jake and his prestigious award that he received?
Jake won the Player of the Week and did not even know the award existed when they asked him about it. He was like, I didn't know they had that. I was like, it's my guy right there. Just out here playing the game.
Well, there's a couple of things. At least he's honest, and B, he created quite a sound clip for someone to just kind of make into a fun little thing for us to all not make fun of, but just kind of give a good laugh at. I'm sure several people have made fun of it, but he's Jake McCarthy. He's a dude.
He really is. Like it was just really funny when they were asking him about it because he was like, "Yeah, it's cool. I didn't know they had it, but that's cool." I was like, "All right, man."
Well, I know I keep I don't want to keep harping on this too much, but to me, it's just like funny. It would be hilarious if he and Zach Veen became the Bash brothers of the team because they come off as kind of with the hair flow and just the attitudes, they come off as being like hockey player enforcers. So that'd be kind of funny if it ends up being that way. Again, I'm not trying to will something into existence here, but that would be kind of nice. I mean, again, Zach Veen being back, he has had quite a return so far. Um, so, but in the 2, I just want to highlight also something for Sugano. He pitched 6 solid innings in game 2 against the
Mhm.
Diamondbacks, and then Ryan Feltner in game 3 pitching 5 innings of only giving up 2 earned runs. So 2 good pitching performances in our wins against the Diamondbacks. And of course, Zach Veen did hit the home run into the pool. It was a nice road trip over so far. Excuse me, it's not over yet. But it is nice that they're still somewhat. I don't want to keep harping on the same line all the time. They're being competitive, this and that. There's still a lot of work to be done, regardless. I mean, it was an interesting lead up to the trade deadline, and now it's just kind of playing this out and seeing what to do for next season. It is kind of crazy. You did mention our text group that Amador, of course, is back with the team too.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about Amador a couple weeks ago, and then he started just really getting hot in Albuquerque, and now, um, with Kyle Caros going on the 7-day concussion protocol, Amador is getting another shot. Really, I mean, more than anything, the thing that's been sticking out to me on this road trip is that we cannot get out of the first inning without giving up runs right
Mhm.
now. Like, that's been the most frustrating thing because then you're putting the offense in a position where they're just having to battle the entire game. Whereas if we can just hold them off in the first, I mean, things are. uh, Although I will say, Jake, after that 4-hit game, and then he was great, the other game in St. Louis as well, but Arizona shut him down.
Well, for sure. I mean, in some sense, while we talk here, I was trying to see. I'll maybe try and look it up later, but you do bring up a good point. We do, especially. I'm not trying to single anybody out, specifically Kyle and Michael. We do have our starters have had issues with, except for certain games, with getting out of that first inning. I'm gonna try and
Mhm.
see if I can find what the Rockies ERA is by inning while we kind of just walk through this here. It is, I mean, you don't want to put, we don't, you never want to put your team in a hole, but unfortunately it does come out to be it that way. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, it just seems like that first inning has been a real struggle. And because the starters are really having to battle and the pitch counts are getting high in the first inning, now you're putting a lot more on a bullpen that already is. I mean, Zach Agnos has been lights out. Jimmy Herget's had some really good performances. Bernardino's been pretty solid. He did have a little bit of a shaky game last night. But, and then Romano, of course, outside of that one just heartbreaking blown save. He's been really solid too, but your bullpen has been a little less than reliable. You want to get as much as you can out of the starters, and
mhm.
you've got guys that are running into 20, 30 pitches in the first inning, and that's really kind of limiting how far they're going to be able to go. I mean, congratulations to, I mean, even Sugano ended up with 6 after a shaky first inning. Feltner, same kind of deal. He really had to battle. Um, Arizona was just really frustrating with all the bases loaded situations that guys were having to get out of and really blowing through arms, um, just trying to make it through an inning. And you got a guy that gets in a really bad situation, you got to bring somebody else in, and then you get to the next inning. Next guy gets in a really bad situation, you got to bring somebody else in to finish it. Like, that's thankfully, they won. I mean, they got out of it every time. They won the games, but um, that is not a good. I think there were 11 walks in that game. That's not a good way to win a ball game. Like, they got real lucky with that.
And the Rockies in game three had 10 walks.
Mhm. Oh, 10. Okay.
But still, you don't want to give good team, even if you're playing a great team, you don't want to give them free passes. We would have gotten destroyed. If we played the Dodgers or the Braves or even the Yankees or the
Oh,
Rays,
yeah.
they would have destroyed
They're
us.
gonna murder you with that. But and the Diamondbacks have the best record against division opponents. And
Mhm.
so to go in and take that series, first time they've won a series in Arizona in 4 years, that was really positive to see and a really great thing to see. But man, it was very stressful to watch because every time it was just like we are one hit away from blowing this.
Yeah, and to give you some context of what you said in game three, listen to this. The Rockies offense was 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left 6 runners on base. But the Diamondbacks, they went 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position and left 15 runners on base. So
Yeah.
hats off, like, as we point out, 10 walks will get you base runners, but hats off to our pitchers for maneuvering around that and not
Mhm.
let it come back to really bite us in the rear end.
Yeah, that was absolutely, I mean, it felt like every single inning it was a bases loaded situation and they were getting out of it, and it was just like, this is not this is not a fun way to watch baseball because every single inning you're just like, "Oh, this is it. This is where the bullpen's gonna blow it again." And it's just, and I do have to say the bullpen has been better than that little stretch they went through where every single game was blown. Um but it is still, you never know what you're going to get when those guys are coming out, and it's just like it's very stressful to watch.
No, I don't disagree. And to your point about the Rockies pitching staff by inning, um, it is true. The first inning by ERA with 121 innings pitched in the first inning, the Rockies have a 7.14 ERA. That's home and away.
That's
That's home and away.
that's not good.
It gets better by inning, but not too great. The best inning for Rockies this season is the seventh inning. That is the only inning they have an ERA below 4.
Hmm.
Yeah, 3.64 is their ERA in the seventh inning.
When you think
But
about who those guys usually are,
mhm,
I mean, that's where you're seeing Agnos a lot,
mhm,
and he's had a point. His ERA is like 0.092 over his last few appearances. Um, Mejia is a seventh inning guy a lot of
mhm,
times, and he's, well, Bernardino, I guess, is probably the
it
number one
is.
guy we're seeing in the seventh inning, and he's been, he's had a couple of bad outings here and there, but for the most part, Bernardino has been really solid all season.
Halverson was at times there once or twice, maybe.
And the Dodgers appear to have fixed him somewhat. They've dropped his arm slot by 3.5 inches,
Mhm.
and they have him extending a little further down the mound. He is becoming quite the demon for them, which was a little bit of what I was afraid of.
That's what happens when you
But
give a guy. No, I'm not talking about just giving him to a team like the Dodgers, but when you have a guy like Mark Pryor who has the resources and the experience of knowing what to do.
yeah,
But
and
they're not foolproof. They couldn't fix Dustin May, so
that's true. I do
and
have to say I felt pretty bad for Nick Frasso in his very first appearance because, man, talk about getting thrown into the fire. That poor
mhm.
kid.
Unfortunately, that happens. You well, the same thing. It
Mhm.
didn't. That's not the only one that happens. I mean, one happened earlier today during the White Sox game where their top prospects got thrown into a tough situation, walked 3 batters, and had just a wild inning. It happens to a lot of people. The worst one is when you're brought in with the bases loaded. That's the worst. Like you have
Mhm.
a reliever who can't get out of it, and then you call upon somebody regardless to try and get out of that. That's the challenge. That's one of the worst situations you could be in.
Yep, and we saw that a lot last night. So,
Ay, caramba. Well, it is what it is. But I gotta say, well, that's on the. Let's talk a little more positive. It is good to see Zach back. He did hit a home run into the pool, as we all saw. It's nice to finally have him back. He was, I don't want to say lighting it up, but he was doing well in Albuquerque. I'll just say that. So it is nice to have him back. The only question, actually, I don't think it should be a question. He now has, again, I'm just giving him his flowers. He has a 1665 OPS at the moment. So it's nice to have that last a little bit. That'll last a little bit. As far as his staying power, I hope he somehow finds a way to stay here. But I don't know. Who knows what happens when Tyler Freeman is ready to go. Again, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I hope for his sake it doesn't turn into a chronic back problem, but we'll have to wait and
mhm.
see.
And it might not even be a bad idea at this point in the season. I mean, we're really pushing kind of close to the end here. If it's something that kind of keeps nagging him past that 10-day mark, I mean, really might not be a bad idea to just go ahead and shut him down and let him heal up. If everybody continues playing like they have been, I think really the player you're going to see most in jeopardy if he does come back before the season's over. Connor Norby was the call up to replace him, and then Julian was DFA'd to make room for Veen. But really, I think if Zach continues what he was doing, of course he was 1 for 3, but that first out, that fly ball in his first at bat, that had a 100.8 mile an hour exit velo. Both of his hits, where I believe the home run was 104
Mhm.
exit velo. So he's hitting the ball hard. And I think if he just continues doing what he's doing and just keeps his head down and keeps going, and it's been great to see him in the clubhouse because, like I've said before, seeing him in Albuquerque last year, he seemed a little more detached. And when Caros hit his home run, I mean, the first person out throwing ice at him was Zach Veen. Like he was up there and ready. He's been super hyped for everybody. Like when Sullivan hit his home run yesterday, he was there in the dugout. He knew it was gone. He was celebrating before the ball even hit the foul pole. Like, it's just been really cool to see him up here and to hear him talk about just uh, how blessed he feels to have made it back. And it's been really cool. He did say that he was loading into a game of zombies whenever he got the call that he was headed up. So uh, sorry to whoever he was playing with, but we're glad he's back.
Well, he has made some impressive changes. Everybody knows the difference in his appearance when he showed up to spring training. It
Hmm.
created a lot of memes and speculations around the league and among fans, especially. So take it for what you wish, laugh at it, troll, whatever you want to do. It is what it is. But the bottom line is he's crushing. But people ask, why is he not up here? It took so long to get back up here. Well, he's blocked. The outfield was very
Yeah,
crowded. And now that he has settled into Albuquerque and kind of gotten his, in my opinion, only gotten his legs under him and his timing down a little better. Because we remember what he was like last year, where he just couldn't hit the ball with,
everything.
he couldn't hit with a tennis racket. So, and again, so I think the timing is better. That's just my opinion. So
Mhm.
we'll see if it is the right decision for them. He's going to get his opportunities. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and I noticed especially when I actually saw him in person, and when he showed up at spring training and he was so much heavier and everything. I mean, anybody that is into weightlifting and things like that, or that sort of thing, you have your bulk cycles and you have your cut cycles. That was obviously a bulk cycle, putting on 40 pounds, and people are like, 40 pounds of muscle. That was not all muscle. And you can tell that he has
mhm,
gotten much leaner. Like, he looks a lot, he doesn't look small by any stretch of the imagination. He's huge.
mhm.
But compared to what he looked like when he showed up to spring training, he has leaned out a lot, which was expected to happen over the season. Now he is a lot more muscle than just bulk, and I mean, it's translating well. People were afraid he was going to lose his speed. I mean, he's been hitting triples down there. He's legging things out. There was a throwing error the other night where he had stolen second. They overthrew the ball. He ended up scoring. It's just, he's still got his speed. He's got a lot more power. His timing is so much better, and you can see he has made some adjustments to his stance um, that seem to really be helping him.
No, I agree. We have in the comments here, Wild the Innocent. Thank you for jumping in. There are a lot of people in here. So feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. We'll talk about it. If you guys want to ask us a question, you want to make a comment that, of course, we can talk about, you want to have a friendly discussion via that, please free to do so. Wild, of course, comments. Key, meaning Zach, had a great attitude about that first effort. It's reflection. I mean, any smart player will reflect on what they learned if they're up for a short time in their first stint in the big leagues and you learn from it. Again, baseball is a game of failure. It's about making adjustments because, again, you only succeed less than 30% of the time. That's 3 times out of 10, meaning if you bat 300, which is considered successful. So
Mhm.
that's what he reflected on. And, to your points there about the site, about the bulking time, over the course of a season, players do lose a bit of weight because
Mhm.
it's every day. Even if you consume the right number of calories, you do whatever you need to do to keep yourself in shape. You do slim down, or I shouldn't say slim down, but you do lose weight over the course of a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, also, Wild mentioned Sarah liked your liked your interaction with Hurdle today on Zach Splash. You want to talk about that? I guess.
Yeah, Clint told me, he was like, Sarah, because I said something on X yesterday. I was like, hey, chat, do we think Zach's going to put one in the Cove this weekend? And Clint was like, Sarah, let him play. Pump the brakes on the hype machine a little bit. I was like, I'm just really excited for him, which there's a number of reasons. I mean, his story is just so great to me. And it shows a lot about what putting yourself into a better place can really do for every part of your life. And his attitude is completely different. He is just, you see so much improvement over the course of this season, and it just really shows what kind of getting it together, I guess, would be the best way to put it, can do for you. And So to me, that's been like the biggest thing about him, because I know I said last season, I was like, I don't know if I'm really sold on Zach Veen. Just what I had seen from him, I was like, I don't really like his attitude. I don't really know how I feel about, there were a lot of things that I was just kind of like,
Mhm.
there's something about this guy that's rubbing me the wrong way. And I know I told you guys that a few
Mhm.
times. And so when he came in and he was just so open and honest about everything that had been going on, I was like, okay, so a lot of that makes a lot more sense now. And to just see that complete turnaround in the personality and the clubhouse presence and in his skill level and what he's doing, um, to me, that's something to be excited about, and that's something to really kind of celebrate. So that's probably why I've been tooting the horn so hard for him. But Clint was like, "Hang on, just let him play." I was like, "Okay,
Well,
I can
yeah.
do
Well,
that."
then to your next comment, finding ways to be excited about the Rockies, about Rockies baseball is always a good thing. Well, a lot of people have the exact opposite, where there's kind of hard to find good things to talk about this team. Whether it's the fact that even though we're 2 games out of fourth place, it's like, again, it's another. Hopefully, we eclipse the Giants. We'll see how this weekend goes. Um, but again, we're trying to be as optimistic as possible because this is a new set of leadership. Ownership has shifted, as we've talked about, just a little bit, not completely,
Yeah,
but still there's a blip because when we have new voices in the ownership room, maybe that leads to something better, especially when that new voice has a lot of cash behind them that they're willing to
yeah,
invest. And I'm being modest when I say that, but again, I'm not trying to get overzealous with my words or my
Mhm.
comments, I should say. But at the same time, we and again, we'll see how this new crop will process. And again, I want to bring this up again. We haven't heard much about him. I really, for those worried about Chase Dollander, he'll be back. He's fine. I haven't heard anything bad about
Mhm.
his recovery at this point. Surgery was a success. So we just got to wait and see. Again, with all the
Yeah,
research and technology in rehab and development when it comes to that injury and that part of the arm, I think he'll be fine.
yeah. He said he's got full range of motion back. Did you see on it was the Saturday game against the Royals, they were giving away the wearable flags, and if you went in the main gate, Chase Dolander and Troy Johnston were handing them out, and I was just I almost went to that game, and then at the last minute, I was like, "No, I just wanna stay home. I'm kinda tired today. I'm not gonna go." And then I'm sitting on X, and all of a sudden, there's Chase and Troy handing out flags. I was like, "Oh, man, are you kidding me right now?" But
On
yeah,
one of those, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I think there's a lot of people, because of the history with the mismanagement of the organization, because you can't deny the Rockies have been horribly mismanaged for a very, very long time. Um, with the mismanagement of the organization, it's so easy to pick out the things that still aren't going right. And I mean, the pitching is the most glaringly obvious thing that you can do. I know a lot of people were not happy with what happened at the trade deadline. There weren't a lot of moves. That was something that we've talked about on here a lot where, I think we all kind of thought the draft was really going to be the focus and
Mhm.
would show us a lot more of what the plan was. And I didn't expect, I saw all the guys that were being talked about. Um, and of course, I have my fingers crossed because the luck I would have, Jake would have been one to go. But I didn't really feel like a lot of the guys they were talking about being moved were going to go anywhere. Senza, I think, was kind of a lock. He wasn't going to be here after the deadline. Doyle, it kind of ended up echoing what I kept saying when Doyle and Beck went down to Albuquerque to rehab, that if they have a successful rehab stint, they're building that trade value. And then he wasn't playing, he wasn't hitting the ball every at bat, but you never are going to. And the White Sox saw something in Doyle that they really liked, and he's been great over there. So um, there was still some value in him, and that allowed them to keep these guys that have really made this offense what it is this season, and to be able to say no to some of these deals. And so that really kind of was what I expected out of the deadline. But a lot of people are real doom and gloom about the organization just because it's been that way for so long, and it's so easy to stay in that attitude because the Montforts are still the owners and people think they have to go completely for anything to really change. Whether that's right or wrong remains to be seen, really, because we haven't even finished a full season with the new front office. But I think if you're actually watching the games, like this is a really fun team to watch. The pitching side is not fun all the time, but the offense is so exciting, and you never ever think that a game is completely, even when a score is really lopsided, you never 100% think that the Rockies are out of a game. And that's something that for a long time you really couldn't say because there was no offense. The pitching was terrible and nobody was hitting the ball. And so if the score got away from you, you knew that game was over. But this year you don't. And so I think it's really easy to find things to be excited about. And these new young players, they're bringing so much to the table just immediately.
Well, the other thing I would say, not just that, but given the fact they're still that young, and you talk about, and that feeds
Mhm.
from the coaching staff. You talk about Warren Schaefer's personality and attitude is very different from Bud Black's, and I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
injected. And you could say, I think it's safe to say that's injected some life into them.
Absolutely. Like those guys, they'll go to war for Warren just as much as I would. You can tell that he has the respect of every single person in that clubhouse, and that they feel comfortable with him, that they trust what he's doing. And I think and I know a lot of people were kind of upset when he got the job, but I think he 100% earned it by turning around just as much as he did last year. But those guys have really bought into his ideals. I mean, he's got guys that are the absolute prototype of what he says he wants his team to be in Jake and Cole and now Zach being up.
Mhm.
He's that kind of guy too. And those three together, I love the idea of those three in a lineup together because the base paths are going to be just absolute chaos. Like you've got so much speed there with the three of them and none of them are afraid to take a chance out there. It's just going to be so much fun to watch as we move into the end of the season what those three are going to do together.
Yeah, and going back, Wild talks about Bernardino would have brought back a nice deal. Here's my opinion, because you point out, Sarah, there was no chance Sons of Tel was remaining. I will say this: Bretton Doyle, again, White Sox fan here talking. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked that we landed him, and I'm thrilled that we did because people have been asking me. I'm telling people, yeah, he struggled with knick-knack, a little bit of nagging injuries in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
He had a personal tragedy that he got through, and that video from him, his wife, and their young daughter on Instagram was so sweet.
Oh,
It was such a beautiful
that's
moment.
so awesome. Having
I'm
a little
so
boy,
I'm
I'm so
so
excited for them.
I'm so happy for them. So Brenton and his wife Rose, I believe her name is, and I can't
Mhm.
remember their daughter. I can't remember their daughter's name. I'm so happy for all three of them. They're welcoming someone new to their family. So congratulations again to them. I was thrilled that he's in Chicago because again, I tell people he's an elite defender. And look at 2024. He has the ability to be a very
Mhm.
productive hitter. Again, it's everybody goes through ebbs and flows sometimes in their career. He's still 28. He has a lot to offer. So I'm excited to have him. And let me tell you something. I'm sure Rockies fans are nuck in the trade. Mason Adams, I will tell you, he is a dark horse candidate. Before he had Tommy John surgery, he was one of the White Sox top prospects. I believe he was as high as number 9, I believe, in their system.
Mhm.
And they've had a good system over the past several years. He could be a steal for us. He is very, very talented. So keep an eye on him. I'm not sure where. They sent him to Albuquerque, right, to start it out. So probably not this season, but looking to next season, he could be debuting for us in Colorado.
And
So again, don't. But go ahead.
they've talked about they have plans for him to be a big part of that rotation.
Mhm.
So, and I didn't know a lot about anybody that was picked up. I think the only name I really had heard a lot of was Connor Norby,
Mhm.
who has been really solid as well. I mean, I think he's a great addition too. But just listening to DePodesta's reasoning behind the players that they picked up in these deals, I just I don't know. I trust the guy. Like I think he's got a good plan in place. Like like they drafted so many pitchers. They got an arm back in every single deal, at least one. Um, they're showing that they know they've got a good offense right now. So let's work on the pitching. And I just I think there's a lot to be excited about with the deals that were made.
But also just to add to when Wild brings up Bernardino, I personally believe guys like Bernardino, Lorenzen, Sugano, guys on 1 year deals with options, I don't think they got any offers. You don't trade a player unless you a 1 year deal player who's not an elite guy or a great player or an everyday guy, unless you get something that's sizably considered, unless you get an offer. So just
Mhm.
my opinion. I don't think the front office got any offers. So it's not knocking their value. It's just that happens. But the strange part was looking back. I mean, obviously the pitching market was interesting. Scuba was moved. Who else? Holmes was moved. Again, Luis Castillo was moved, but there wasn't a lot of movement in terms of the lefty reliever market. So that's probably what stifled Bernardino getting moved, I think.
Mhm. Well, and if you look at how every single one of those deals have gone, like Freddie
Mhm.
Peralta melted down, and Skubal has not been great in LA. Casey Mize did not have a great game. Like none of those deals, like, and of course, there's probably a little bit of an adjustment period to be had
Yeah.
there, but none of those deals have just made an immediate impact for any of those teams. Like it's been almost worse for them.
I'm not worried about Peralta because, again, I will hearken this all the time. The Rays have a knack for just getting the most out of any pitcher they acquire, and they know
Mhm.
when to part with that player too. It's just a thing they can do. Brewers are the same thing. They know what to do as well when it comes to pitching.
Yeah, I think Senza is going to be just fine there, and he gets a shot to
Mhm.
make a push for a ring, and so that's really all you can. I mean, that guy gave everything to Colorado and really held the team down in a lot of bad spots this year. So I'm happy that he's going to get that opportunity now because by the time Colorado is playoff ready, he is he's not going to be pitching anymore,
Should we start the Scuba to
most
Colorado?
likely.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You kind of gave out there. Sorry. Should we start the Scuba to
Oh
Colorado
no, I'm
campaign?
done.
Should we start the Scuba to Colorado campaign?
No,
I'm kidding.
I don't want
Everyone
him.
that was everybody listening to that. That's a complete joke. I have zero interest in bringing Tarek Skubal to Denver because not only the
Yeah,
amount of money it would cost, but same, I don't want to negotiate with the guy who represents him. I don't want to do that because
yeah,
he is chasing
no, I'm
he is
I'm
cha-
good.
he's chasing a record. He's going to try and beat Zach Wheeler's AAV value contract for a pitcher. Whether he gets it, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how they finish the season. How he finishes the season. It's like
Mhm.
um, real quick. Oh my God, yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, wild. Yeah, the Popet, that was awesome. I hope that the White Sox use it as their home run celebration for the rest of the season whenever a guy hits a home run. That was funny. And of course, as we alluded to earlier, Walmart money can help, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be worth it for this particular player because, again, he's a back-to-back Cy Young Award winner. But I don't know, even though he had the quick, successful procedure they called the Scooble scope, air quotes, I don't know what that means for his long-term future. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just too many.
yeah,
That's too much of a question mark for me.
yeah. There's too much up in the air with that because that's something that you haven't seen really done, and you don't know how long that's going to last.
I mean, a lot of players, some players, I mean, again, Otani's an example, and there's several other examples that I can't think off the top of my head that have two elbow surgeries in their careers. Just because
Mhm.
you have the one doesn't mean you're not going to need to have it again.
Oh, and Hunter Green just had Tommy John for the second time.
You're right. I forgot about him. Oh, oh God. It's, but again, well, and everyone's starting to speculate is Mizorowski doomed for it, considering he's had a little bit of a tough stretch
I
here.
I don't know how he couldn't be like that guy throwing that fast. You know it's tearing his elbow up.
I mean, just this, God, it's just, I again, I could not touch that even if I did. There's zero chance I could touch that much in terms, but just the strain that goes on your arm when you do it every single time.
Yeah,
I'm I harken this all the time. It's the max effort training, the max effort delivery. It's just, again, I can't even fathom what your elbow feels like when the adrenaline wears off after a start.
oh, I bet it feels like his whole arm's about to fall off. I mean, you just didn't. That wasn't something you saw 30 years ago. Greg Maddox threw like 88 miles an hour. You couldn't hit it. Location is so much more important. Like how you locate your pitches. And I mean, yeah, these guys can catch up to some of this stuff now more, but I still think that if Greg Maddux were in his prime, you could run him out there and he'd still be very, very successful. It's just, I don't know. I
There,
don't think it's
he,
worth losing your arm.
Greg Maddux is one of a couple of finesse pitchers I like to call that would still succeed in today's Major League Baseball, because Greg
Mhm.
Maddux was the master of strategy and just nibbling the strike zone and
Mhm.
deception, because he was such perfect with repeat mechanics. He was perfect.
Can you imagine Greg Maddux with the ABS system? Like,
I it's he it would work. It would work against him and it would work for him if he had it. But I think he would still succeed with it though. He would
yeah,
I think he would get more calls for him than against him. But then again,
I can,
I still think he would
I,
get just as many swings and misses as he did during his playing days.
yeah, I can just imagine him challenging pitches. He'd just be looking at the umpire like, "What are you doing? Like, come
Well,
on now."
the crazy thing about him is he would study every single umpire's tendencies. He would do it all.
Hmm.
He was doing. I mean, they do that now today. There's scouting reports on every umpire, and they go more outside, inside, up, down, more this. They have a smaller strike zone, a larger one on certain. He would do that before every single start. He would know every. He would try to know
Yep.
all their tendencies backwards and forwards. But again, that's why he's in the Hall of Fame, or it's why again, even without a power arm, that's how he still succeeded. I mean, yeah, his average fastball I think was 92, 93, I think in his career, maybe even
Hmm.
lower than maybe 91, 92. I have to look that up. But yeah, he rare was that I can't recall maybe two times I saw him hit 95.
Yeah, very, very, very rarely. He didn't need to. Like, and I think that's something, because it seems like any guy that's out on the mound now at some point in time is going to have some kind of elbow procedure. And the command is just, I mean, look at the number of guys. I feel like there's been a huge uptick in the last several years of guys that are getting beamed in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Sal Stewart almost got plunked today, just the ball just phoom, right past his mouth. And uh,
Supposedly it did actually I thought initially it didn't hit him, but he went to first base.
yeah,
So but
maybe it caught his maybe it caught the flap or something.
yeah, no, I when I first saw I thought, wait a second, that didn't seem like it hit him. But then after closely, he turned his head at the right time and it plunked the side of his helmet here. So he did.
Oh,
So I was skeptic. Wait, that didn't look like, because when you get hit in the face or the head, you're gonna go down because it's just such impact. It's gonna knock you off your feet. But if you watch it, I had to watch it a couple times. Oh, it hit him right here and it knocked the helmet off his head. So again,
okay.
I
So it
also
hit the
thought he did.
helmet.
I was skeptical too, but wait, oh, and then I watched it again. Oh, my mistake. I saw it. But no, but to your point, yeah, it's like a lethal weapon. It's the baseball is a lethal weapon in their hand.
Yeah, at 104 miles an hour, that's going to do some damage if it hits you.
I mean, do you remember? I mean, you remember this? Aroldis Chapman. While we're on the subject of the Reds, Aroldis Chapman made his debut at the Reds over a decade ago. We're coming up on almost 15 years ago. That was 2011 or 12. I can't remember, but it was in Cincinnati against the Pirates, and his first batter was the great Andrew McCutchen, and he didn't buzz him up and in, but he got him inside and up here. And McCutchen kind of leaned back a little bit and went, whoa. And then he looked up, everyone looked up with the radar gun and saw 103 on his first pitch right there. So, yeah, to
Hmm.
your point, I mean, it's just that especially like on the south side of Chicago, going back to that point, it was a wet, rainy-ish day.
Hmm.
So with conditions like that, the ball could slip incorrectly out of the pitcher's hand.
Yeah, and that's what I remember. I saw the picture. He kept telling him, he's like, it's just slipping, it's just slipping, because they ejected him, which I thought was little much for that, but
Yeah.
because you could tell, I mean, you could tell by his reactions to everything that it was not something that was intentional, and he was getting frustrated with himself, but the ball was just slipping. But if you're throwing 101, 102, whatever, and the ball is slipping, that's super, that, like you said, that's a lethal weapon. If it hits somebody in the right place, that's a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, Davis Martin, who was the pitcher today against the Reds for the White Sox, he doesn't touch triple digits. His best fastball is 97, which
Mhm.
again, not making light of that coming at you. Still,
Yeah.
I mean, The one that really rings true to me, to your point of getting hit in the head, was in 2021, Jose Abreu against the then Indians, now Guardians. He got plunked in the head by James Karinchak, who threw gas when he was pitching. And,
Mm-hmm.
to the point, and Abreu was clearly shocked. It's, it is a problem, not just for pitchers, but then again, I remember an interview from several years ago, Tyler Glasnow, Dodger pitcher, former Rays pitcher, actually, when we were talking about Freddie Peralta. He, in an interview, I might be getting the quote exactly wrong here. He said, basically what he said is, we understand it's part of the process, or we understand we're going to have to it's kind of like how I put it, like a badge, like a prerequisite to be a major league pitcher. You're going to basically have it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah,
I don't know what long-term effects that surgery has in your latter life. I don't know how that affects I'm not that you're going to pitch into your 60s or throw baseballs into your 60s. I'm not saying that, but
I mean, that's just a Nolan Ryan thing.
Can you believe it, when he threw a first pitch a couple years ago, he was clocked at 81 miles an hour at his age.
Right.
Can you believe that?
And with his elbow in the shape that it's got to be in.
If you can't,
I couldn't believe you did it.
I recommend it. Careful, people. If you ever watch the last pitch he threw, viewer beware. It's not exactly
disgusting.
Something you want to see. You don't want to see, but poor guy. But then again, he somehow not only has the all-time leader in strikeouts, but in walks as well. He was lethal with a baseball, both in terms of hitting the strike zone, but also with location. Because he just threw just in there. That's all. And of course, it's just, God, what is he? He's got to be in his 70s by now. He's got to be in his early 70s.
I believe so. I think he's early 70s. He's either very late 60s, early 70s.
Either way, throwing low 80s at that age, my God, that's incredible.
Right.
He could be in like an old timers game and throw a no hitter. Oh, that'd be fun.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure he probably could.
I think I just gave the Texas Rangers a good idea. Have an old timers game and make Nolan Ryan pitch. Although he's probably going to get tired after a couple of innings. I don't think he can can throw more than 10 pitches in sequential order. So no, but again, I still don't think I could get the hit off Nolan Ryan. Probably not, but
no.
Anyway, Wild has an interesting comment here. Two interesting comments. Cadet Paul Skeens. Well, first of all, Skeens, if you see his warm-up routine, it is incredible. It's actually, they did a full-length video of it where you can watch it from start to finish, what he does behind the scenes, and then when he goes out to the pen to warm up. It is incredible. But I don't know. I just hope the Pirates can build somewhat of a win around him, and then you can get a concussion just running into your own shortstop, which if you don't communicate with the outfielder, that can't happen.
Yeah, that's what landed Karros on the concussion protocol, is running into Tovey the other night. And I mean, in that situation, like neither one of them could really call the ball because you're not sure who's actually got the best beat on it. It was just absolute freak accident. Really, I mean, the way he flipped around and ended up landing, I was just like, I thought he'd hurt something else at first. And then when they showed the replay and you saw where he came into contact with Tovey's shoulder, it was just like, oh yeah, they're not going to let him stay in. So
yeah, the worst thing is lack of communication is a problem, but I don't know who had the right. I can't recall who would have had the right of way, but either way, somebody's got to call it.
Yeah.
Well, if an outfielder's coming in and an infielder's going out, the outfielder always has the right of way, but the outfielder has got to call him off. That's big for anybody. Any young players listening out there, remember, talk out there, yell it, scream it. I got it. Scream it. Yell at the top of your lungs if you have to. And do it as quickly as possible because you don't want to wait till the very last second. Anywho, so real quick, I just want to touch on this, the current state of the divisional standings for the NL West. Of course, the Dodgers are in first at 73 and 48. The Padres are in second place at 65 and 57. The Diamondbacks are in third with 64 and 58. And then we go to the losing record teams. The Giants are 50 and 71 in fourth place, and we are 2 games behind them at 48 and 73. If we sweep this series, we're out of the basement.
We're in fourth place. We're over 50 wins. We still got enough time. A lot of people are like, we're not gonna win 100, I, or we're not gonna keep from losing 100. I'm like, I think we are. I think we are. We
You th-
only need 15 more, and we'll avoid it. I think we can do this.
mm, I
I,
think we
we
should.
might end up we might end up at 63 and 99, but golly, I think we can get past it.
63 and 99 is an improvement.
It is.
Plus,
And that's
also,
the other thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's only 20 more wins." That's a big deal considering what happened last year.
it's a huge deal.
I don't think they're
But
going to hit the 70 that I felt like we were going to get there in the beginning, but you know what? I'll take 63 too. That's still a 20 game improvement. That's a big deal.
yeah, but um, what was I gonna say? But no, or it's like the charge for fourth place, or the start like a whole kind of event, start like a whole what you call it, like a montage, maybe a hashtag, like let's finish in fourth, or let's not finish last, the race to not finish last, or something like that, or something, a race to finish fourth. I know it sounds stupid and silly to some or most, but hey, given where we've been the last several years, we're trying to have some form of optimism. But either way, we'll see how this weekend goes. The big matchup, I think, well, not big pitching matchup, but the interesting one is Saturday's game. We have Freeland on Friday and Gabriel Hughes on Sunday, and the matchup, of course, I think is going to be interesting. Michael Lorenzen, and again, he's not had the. I'm not saying he's had a great season, but just of who he's going against, which is Logan Webb. So even though Logan Webb is in a interesting situation with the Giants, he's still having a formidable season.
Now, the Rockies have gotten to him a few times. So that's one that, if the pitching can keep things under control, that's not a game that I'm too terribly worried about. But what I am really excited about is Triples Alley with Cole Carrig, Jake. Well, because Jake got that second inside the park home run
Mm-hmm.
there in San Francisco. But
Mm-hmm.
between Cole and Jake and Zach, if they can get a ball into Triples Alley out there at Oracle, we could see all kinds of crazy stuff start happening. Like this, I'm really excited for this series.
We've seen it. A ball bounces strangely off that carom. You can circle the bases. The
And I think
most
all three of those guys are fast enough to do it.
well, I think they all are,
I mean,
especially if he gets the right kick and there's the wrong outfielder out there. But the one that most notably comes to my brain is my head is the 2007 All Star Game in San Francisco when Ichiro kicked one off the right center field wall. Griffey played it wrong. King Griffey Jr. played it wrong, and Ichiro circled the bases in an All Star game. That's the best. That's one of my favorites. But again,
mhm.
now no, I don't think either of them are faster than Ichiro, but still, they have the speed enough to circle the bases. Oh,
Yeah.
here's well. First of all, Wild does say get Gabe a win. Let's hope he gets one on Sunday. Yes, indeed. And then, of
Oh,
course, all with their helmets flying off. Yeah, sure. If you're
yeah.
gonna
Jake's
try
gonna
with,
ditch that helmet so fast.
oh yeah, and then that hair is gonna flow as he's running. Why not? He'll ditch it. So, and of course, then after, of course, the Giants, we come back home for a 6 game series against the Dodgers and Guardians. The pitchers for the Dodgers series have not been announced yet. So we'll wait to see as the weekend progresses who, of course, fills those spots. What was I going to say? Okay, just a couple, I guess a quick, maybe we'll talk about this in the next episode, but a couple of things for the series against the Guardians. Next Friday is University of Colorado ticket package night. The Saturday game, the 22nd against the Guardians, is Star Wars night. I am a Star Wars fan, so that's a nice name there. And of course, on Sunday, the Sunday game is the Larry Walker statue
Mhm.
unveiling. So, are you going to be there for that one? I will not be able to be so.
I don't know that I'll be there for that one, but I will say keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to be posting a video about that one
Mhm.
for the Rockies TV ambassador promotion thing that'll be coming out here in the next day or so. I'll be talking a little bit more about what's going to be happening on these statue unveiling days for both Larry Walker and Todd Helton.
Nice. All right. When is the other one? That's
September
September.
19th.
Oh, okay. I'm sure I can look it up real fast because I thought for some reason I thought one of them was in July, but it's not. September. Oh, it's the 19th. Yeah, September 19th. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a Saturday. Everyone, that's a Saturday. Okay, well, I guess that's all today. So, Sarah, you got anything you want to add before we wrap up tonight's episode?
No, I think that's about it. Just excited for tomorrow.
Should be this. All right. Anyway, well, thank you everybody who tuned in tonight, or if anybody who else listens to this episode post recording. Again, be sure to follow us on all our social media pages. We do have a Facebook page officially, so be sure you hit the follow button on that one. Instagram, X, of course, our YouTube page as well to make sure you get updates on whatever episodes when we go live. But again, thank you for tuning in tonight's episode of the Rockies Now podcast, and we will see you all next time.